Hey everyone, I am Dapper of Dapper Inspirations. Welcome back to the channel, and without further ado, let's get into it. So, before we get started with the content of this episode, I wanted to kind of take a quick second to explain what the heck this video is. And what it is highlighting parts of a conversation I had with my high school worship team at my local, or at my, not local, well, it is local, regardless, at my church. And what this video was, it was really like podcast style. I'm not really sure what to call what we did other than like maybe an interview or a conversation, but probably just a conversation in general about worship and the importance of it, how worship has affected their lives, and a couple other things. But I mean, those 2 points were the main gist of it. I hope you enjoy this different style of video, and if you do, let me know in either the comment sections below, or you can always DM me on Instagram. But, speaking of Instagram, make sure to go follow these lovely people on Instagram, and while you're over there, don't forget to follow my Instagram account, at Dapper Inspirations. But, with all that intro stuff out of the way, let's dive into the real content of this video, and the 6th episode of Dapper Thoughts, The Importance of Worship. Question number 1 is very simple, and I probably know the answer to this, but, you know, double checking and all that, is what is all of your guys' favorite form of worship?
Okay, I'll go first. I think that, like, for me, it's music. I mean, yeah. I think that for me, I feel like singing is definitely, like, that's the strongest way that I can worship, and that's the most powerful for me personally. Even though, like, you can worship other ways, like I could worship just playing piano and not singing it at all, but for me, I feel like there's more power in singing. So.
Nice.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know, I totally agree with that. I think I also love to, like, I think it's cool that you could worship God through your actions and like what you do, not just through music, but like obeying what he asks us to do. I think that's super cool that if you're not the best maybe at singing, or you don't know how to make music very well, I think that's super cool.
So something I wanted to add on to what was already said in the video, and what Sutton's actually said, was when she said, like, we can worship God just by simply obeying him. Now, I think a lot of people, especially nowadays, really ask the question, or just have the thought in their mind, well, if I'm forgiven by God, why should I be doing good works? And first and foremost, the answer to that is because God tells us to, and Christianity is not just a one-time thing, oh, I'm saved now, I can live however I want. No, it's a lifestyle. Because we believe as Christians that God saved us, and we should be living differently because of that. Now, in all reality, a lot of people get that misconstrued, but I think Sutton really nailed the point that we should be worshiping God through all of our actions, and we should be worshiping God by simply obeying him. Now, worship can take varying forms, as was said in this video a lot. Either through prayer, reading your Bible, or singing, which is honestly the most popular form of worship. But I think we as Christians should really focus on and analyze, am I worshiping God every day? And if the answer is yes, cool. But the question I would have if the answer is yes, how are you worshiping him every day? Are you obeying him every day? Are you diving into the word every day? Or are you singing every day? I mean, if you sing every day, that's cool. No shame. But I do think we as Christians should be hyper-focusing on just obeying God and worshiping him through that way. And the reason I think that is because a lot of Christians miss that. A lot of Christians miss the obeying part of worship. And yeah, honestly, like, we as Christians should be focusing on all of that, just obeying him stuff, because that's what God calls us to do, and that's how we can thank God for the gracious gift he's given us. But with that little side tangent or adding on thing, let's dive right back into the interview. My next question is, how has worship impacted your lives?
I guess that I'll just go first. Worship has really impacted my life because I feel like most people, like, for example, pop singers, they just like, oh yeah, I'm a good singer, and they just go out and they don't use it for God. But like, with me, I really like I do like to sing, but then sometimes actually quite a lot, I just like to sit in my room, just spend time with God, and then like just thank him for the gift that he's given me to lead people closer to him through worship.
I think for me, like, that I've done the most growing through worship, especially being here at Shelter Cove. Because like 3 years ago, I was the most introverted person, with just a big ball of anxiety, social anxiety and stuff like that. And I still have that, and I still struggle with that. But I think that me stepping out and being like, okay, God, this is what you want me to do. All right. I hate it, but okay. And just kind of just obeying that. But like, just doing that, I've been able to conquer some of my other anxieties. Like, I used to be like, oh gosh, so anxious about going to the store or like ordering my food, which sounds dumb. I know that, but because just the way that the Lord works, like I'm able to do that now, where a couple years ago I wouldn't have been able to do that at all. So I think that for me, it's just growth and things like that. That makes sense.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I've gotten just like overall a better relationship with God. You know, it like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes God can seem so distant, but like it's amazing to me that through just like song or through just like prayer, you can talk to him and you can like really get to know God, and I think that's super cool.
All right. So yeah. Another funny thing, I talk way too much. So I've also talked about a very similar thing that Sutton just said, how we can draw a physical barrier between ourselves and God. I think that was my last video. I can't remember at this point. I have too many. But the thing is, we can draw this physical barrier between us and God, and like worship is a really great bridge between that barrier, because when we physically worship him, we are building that bridge between this barrier between us and God. And honestly, like, that's incredible. And yeah. But the final question is, why do you think worship is an important thing for Christians to do or to partake in?
Well, first of all, it's biblical. I mean, you can just see people worshiping like throughout the Bible. Like you have Psalms for one thing, you know, just so much worship in just that one book, even though it has 5 million chapters in it. That's not the point.
So I know Elizabeth said, like, it doesn't matter that there's so many books in Psalms, but I did want to make a small little point that maybe, just maybe, this is not confirmed, this is just speculation, maybe one of the reasons Psalms is so long is to show how expansive worship is and should be. How long it should take. Like, Psalms is the third biggest book in the Bible, Jeremiah being the first in word count at least. Chapter count, Psalms beats every single book. But maybe Psalms is so large because God wants us to worship that much. He wants us to worship every single day. And going back to what I was saying earlier, we should be worshiping him every single day because he deserves that. honestly, like, we believe in a God that sent his one and only son to die for us. So why doesn't he deserve praise? Why wouldn't he deserve all of our glory, all of our praise, and all of our attention, essentially? But with that little side tangent or food for thought comment thing, I'm not really sure, out of the way, let's dive back into the rest of this conversation I had with the worship team.
Like, it's just David pouring out his heart and worshiping. And then, like, you look at, like, Paul and Silas, when they were in prison, like, they were still worshiping Jesus and God, and, like, they were singing praise and stuff like that. Like, where they're, you know, they were badly beaten before they got thrown into jail, and yet they're like, yeah, no, man, we're still gonna sing.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
yeah, I think that's, I don't know where else I was going with that.
It's just biblical, and really it gets your heart ready. Like, the music part of worship, I feel like, just gets your heart ready for so much more that God is going to show you through, I don't know, like, your life and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I think worship is just super important for Christians because, like, kind of like what Kylie was saying about, like, being, like, bad with words. I think something like music is just such a great way to be able to talk to God, maybe if you're bad at praying or, like, you feel that way. I think it's just super yeah, it makes it so much easier for people to just be with God. Maybe if you just, it's just one of the simplest ways that you can just do that, if you're not really so good at other things.
Yeah. There's a Christian artist named Jason Gray, and he has a speech impediment, which, like, you know, he kind of stutters a little bit when he talks, but when he's singing and when he's worshiping Jesus, it doesn't really affect him, like, hardly at all, which is just, like, something super, like, cool. And I think that, like Tim was saying earlier, that bridge between that is definitely, like, there, and that's, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
oh, sorry. Go
ahead.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, same with me. I, like, obviously, like, most people don't even notice it, but, like, a few years back, I had a really bad, like, stuttering problem. I still have it a little bit now. You guys maybe could, like, pick it up. Like, sometimes when I talk, it's not so much when I pray. When I pray, sometimes, rarely, a little bit, but sometimes when I'm just talking, like, giving a speech or something in front of, like, a lot of people, that's not worship or, like, biblical or anything, it, like, I stutter. And then when I'm I stutter a little bit. Then when I'm just talking to people, normally I stutter a little bit. And again, it's not as bad as a few years ago, but it seems like when I'm worshiping and when I'm singing, all that just goes away because you're in the presence of God. When you're worshiping, whether it be you're singing or you're doing anything else that God has gifted you to do, you're using that worshiping, and you're just in the presence of God with whatever you're doing, and it just, like, all the nerves of, like, talking just goes away.
Yeah. I think also going kind of, like, keeping with that, like, for me, I have anxiety and depression, and, like, when I'm anxious or when I'm really down, like, I try to remember to go back to music, and usually I will sing like Tremble, or I'll listen to it or something like that, and there's just, like, so much power in that for me. It's just kind of, especially, like, when I'm anxious, I'll just sing, like, that first line, peace, peace, bring it all the peace, just until I kind of calm down. And I think that that's, like, it's just powerful in the sense of just, you know, bridging the gap and being like, nah man, you can't have her, not right now.
So, I think God uses people that are, like, no one else would use. I think God chooses people that no one else would have even considered. People like Moses, who also, coincidentally, had a speech impediment. Yeah, I think, like, that like, we all have something that restrains us. For what that is, I have no idea. For me, for a long time, it was a speech impediment. And for you, it may be something completely different. But the thing is, God uses us at the end of the day for his glory every single time. And I think that's just awesome.
Yeah, well said.
And that is just going to about wrap it up for today's video. First and foremost, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you want to see more content like this, let me know. And also, make sure to go follow these lovely people. And if you girls are watching, thank you so much for helping me out with this video, and I hope to possibly work with you all in the future. But if you like my content and just this cool style of content that I've been trying to create, why not subscribe? Subscribing is the best way to help out a small channel like mine, and it is 100% free. You heard that right. Free now and forever, because subscribing has always been and will always be free. But regardless, if you liked the video, drop a like, because it makes the YouTube algorithm happy and helps me grow, just like I said before. And with that being said, until next time, guys, I'll catch you next time. Peace.